Thank you for tuning in to Voice of Reason Boston. My name is Tamisha Civil. I'm your host, and I have two wonderful guests for you this morning. One is Ashleigh Gordon. She is the co-founder and executive director of Castles of Our Skins. And we also have another wonderful guest, Jenny Oliver. She's an artist and a curator. We're going to be hearing from them about their upcoming show, November 5th, which is called Belonging. We're going to get to know what it's all about, how it came about. It's going to be at Hibernian Hall in Roxbury, November 5th, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So let's get on and listen to what they have coming for us. Good morning, Ashleigh and Jenny. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing
Good.
well. How are you?
Good,
Morning.
good. Thank you for coming on Voice of Reason Boston. We are so delighted to have you here this morning to talk to our viewers about your upcoming show. And I will start with you, Ashleigh, if you can introduce yourself to our listeners and those who are tuning in.
Sure, yeah. My name is Ashleigh, or you can call me Ash, and I am a violist, musician. I am the co-founder and currently artistic director. We recently brought in an executive director, which has been a huge help over the summer. So just artistic director with Castle of Our Skins, and live in JP, Jamaica Plain, certainly frequent Roxbury area, as our office is now situated there, and really excited to again partner with Hibernian Hall and certainly Jenny for this upcoming project.
Excellent. Jenny?
Yes, my name's Jenny Oliver. I use the she series of pronouns. I am the founder of Modern Connections. I'm an artist and choreographer here in the city. I live in East Boston. I've been here about 12 years now, and really excited to be working with Castle of Our Skins as the creative in residence for this year.
And I'm very delighted to have you both on Voice of Reason Boston to talk about this wonderful show that you're going to have November 5th. Now, let's dive into how it came about, Belonging. How did the title come along? What is the meaning behind that?
Yeah, so I think that I'll start and say that belonging is an ongoing project for me. This really came out of 2020, and during the quarantine period of that year, I had lost a lot of family members and loved ones. And being here, I'm originally from New Bedford, Mass, and not being able to go home and not being able to be with my family really was making me think a lot about what does it mean to belong to a person, to a place, to yourself. I also, as a choreographer, work with a group of dancers here, and as an embodied practitioner, we're around people all the time. I mean,
Right.
I'm around hundreds of people on a weekly basis, and then to all of a sudden have no stimulation at all. It was really jarring for me and also for my community. And so we started trying to find ways to get together when we were able to, and really digging into those questions. And out of that, it's turned into an opportunity to workshop with lots of different people. I've had plenty of opportunities to partner with different organizations and museums and etc. along the way. And what has come up is that when I start to ask those questions, people go, I never even thought about it. I don't think
Right.
about my belonging. I don't even think about myself as like a person in a body, like I don't like a body that moves. And
Right.
so that to me was shocking because I
Mhm.
feel like I'm in a body every day. And I know that my body's moving all the time. And so it made me want to pause and find moments within our day and our lives where we can pause and reflect, because we live in such a fast-paced society where it's all about the quote unquote productivity, and the productivity
Mhm.
amount that really your just the fact that you exist is valuable enough. Period. You woke up today, you matter. It doesn't matter how much money you can make in a day or any of
Right.
that. So we've really been working around that. And then that's fast forward, almost 4 years now, being able to be in residency with Castle of Our Skins. We're bringing this to the next level? How is it that we can bring local artists that are all been working around this theme of belonging over the past few years? How can we bring us all in the same room and really demonstrate, like, what does it mean to belong to Boston or the greater
Right.
Boston? Us to slow down and see one another. What is it for us to engage with performance art, and not just in an entertainment way, but in a way that feels reflective of our humanity? So maybe I'll just pause there and allow Ash to jump in.
Sure. Yeah. Beautiful, Jenny, as always. And I'll just contextualize a little bit around Castle of Our Skins. So, Castle of Our Skins is in our 11th season. We're a concert and education series that celebrates Black artistry through music and other arts. So, dance included and spoken word. Our name comes from a poem by Nikki Giovanni, for instance. And each year for the past 4 years, we've had a Shirley Graham Du Bois Creative in Residence. So Jenny is our 2023-2024 Creative in Residence. Normally, what we do is have opportunities to collaborate, understand, sort of incorporate, infuse our styles together over the course of the season, and then have sort of a culminating capstone in the spring. Given our calendar season, that didn't necessarily work. So we're opening our season with a capstone after some months of being able to connect and explore with Jenny. This is not our first time working with Jenny. We worked with her many a times over the year, and most recently for a giant mask ball project that we collaborated with another visual artist, Daniel Callahan, last year. And so have an appreciation and an understanding around Jenny's practice, and was able to hit the ground running and really act as a producer for her capstone / season opener, November 5th. Belonging, this whole entire concept as it relates to artists and ultimately audience members to be able to engage in a little bit of a choose your own adventure, how you would like to address this question, and inviting other artists to help tease out various conversations and various answers. So a variety of artists ranging from certainly the dancers that Jenny is working with to spoken word artist Jija, who's based in Dorchester, musicians, our executive director, Siad Wells, a guitarist, as well as Steph Davis, a really beautiful marimbist, to be able to infuse and incorporate. And then also to work with other artists. So we have a sculptor, Crystal B, who has a phone booth where people can engage with various conversations. A wellness architect, Jesse Rosinski, to engage around the feeling of being, as Jenny called it, embodied within your body. So having a sense of connection with yourself and allowing for that sort of meditation around breath. Another really fantastic artist engineer to use the tactile experience. So to have a feeling across the room, feeling each other's warmth. And I'll sort of leave it at that because I want people to really engage and experience his being Nat Atnafu, his work. And through multimedia as well, with Jacqueline Sinclair being able to engage with different conversations as it relates to this idea of belonging. So to really immerse yourself in this whole premise that Jenny has been wrestling with and engaging in with a variety of artists in many different ways. So as a participant, as a embodied practitioner of your own sorts, through all these different kind of installations or connection stations, we're calling them, and then to be able to be immersed through music, art, and poetry in another sort of exploration around this theme.
Thank you. What does it mean to belong to a person, to a place, to yourself? Such a powerful question. I had to think about myself when I read that question. I was like, wow, I never gave that a thought, but I know during the time of COVID, how that was a period to either break you or make you, or tap into the gift that you have to share with not only with your family, your loved ones, but the community as well. And I felt the question to the core, and I wanted to know, how did that question come along? I know, Jenny, you spoke a little bit about your experience and how you weren't able to get access to your family the way that you would want it. But looking out, looking in, how do you think people will feel once they see the show, and how they see themselves through the question?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about art is that it's going to be for each individual. I think that over the years that I've been doing this, there's been a variety of responses. Some people are moved to tears and feel, an overwhelm of um, permission,
Hmm.
permission given that you can just sit down and rest, or you can, you are not what you produce. Like I had mentioned earlier, we've also had responses where people are a little bit shocked and taken back. Like no one's ever asked me that question, and I don't. Now that you're asking this, I don't know what that answer is, and so then
Yeah,
they with an opportunity for them to dig a little deeper, to call their loved ones, to make that initial, reach out to a friend or someone that they haven't connected with in a while. For me, I mean, what does it mean to belong to a person? I mean, it's really holding space. It's deep listening. It's as a dear friend of mine talks about, and the intention around the constellation of care and realizing that I'm connected to other people.
right.
And that's something that I think we really recognized when we weren't able to gather together. That I need people. When we're thinking about what it means to belong to a place as a Black Native woman, native to Massachusetts, it's spending time in nature. It's continuing to investigate my relationship and responsibility to where I am at any given time.
Hmm.
In what I call the successful experiment, the ground zero of the successful experiment of the United States of America, Boston, Massachusetts. I mean, totally concrete. It's built, the city itself is sitting on top of my ancestors and our culture completely. It was filled in. And so, what does it really mean to be connected to that place in a way that I am of
Right.
it and not from it? And then, what does it mean to belong to yourself? I mean, you can only meet people to the depths that you've met yourself. And so, for me, it's about maintaining my practices, it's about spending time with my loved ones, it's about nourishing my body and spirit and being in purposeful alignment and with my life force energy. So those are some of the things that I relate to.
Yeah,
And I hope that when people leave, that they find that it's just a doorway, or
right.
they can turn the knob and open the door into having permission to put themselves at the center and see
Absolutely.
for themselves.
And Ashley, would you like to add anything?
I don't think I can. I mean, that was so well encapsulated from Jenny, but just from the sort of audience perspective, to know that um, if this is a first thought, if these questions are first thought, that the space is intentionally by certainly led by Jenny, and again with Castle of Our Skin's support, designed to be a space of comfort and care where you can sit and reflect. We literally have a reflection table. There's lots of prompts and paper, and you can write and reflect. You can hold on and keep things intimate if you want, and be able to have whatever comes up for you held and cared for in a way that hopefully feels genuine and safe to be able to enter into thought and conversation that you hadn't had or you haven't had in a while. So the idea of care and support in a safe space is definitely something that is brought into the design for Sunday.
I would agree. I would agree with you wholeheartedly, because when we talk about, and I keep reading the question, when we talk about what does it mean to belong to a person, throughout the pandemic that we went through, and we're getting back to, slowly but surely getting back to normalcy, if that's a word. Um, we think that we go to work 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. We're like robots where we don't have time, um, to focus on what really is important to us, which is family, your children, taking time to breathe, asking questions simple as, how was your day? What did you do today? And then when you think about to a place, where do I live? Um, the city of Boston, how we can bring city of Boston together as a community, work alongside with each other, bringing communities and organizations together because we all have something to offer, supporting each other to the point where we're helping everyone, whether it's through artistry, mentally, emotionally, and physically. I think it's very important for those who are tuning in to really take the time and ask yourself that question, which is, what does it mean to belong to a person, to a place, to yourself? Respecting and loving yourself to the point where you're able to provide the love that you see for yourself to those that are surrounded around you. And I think it's very important because I've learned to not hold grudges. I've learned to cherish the most important relationships that I have. And if it means to, go out the extra mile and reach out to that special person that I know is special to me, to just make things work out and let them know that, life is short. You don't know what's going to happen. It's time to work together. And I think it's important that, we're able to come together and have these kind of conversations and let people know that, there are things that we can do and listen and see, just like your organization that's providing a safe space for women of color, men of color, everyone around the city of Boston to have this experience, which is going to be presented November 5th. And I think that's very awesome. But also, I wanted to know, what is the message that you want to convey to the community within itself, where we live, where we do our daily, our daily shopping and advocacy. What message would you like to convey to those in our community?
I might just start this one and certainly let Jenny add on, but I think the idea of even starting to have a question, having a conversation with oneself, hopefully to feel a deeper sense of connection to all three of those orientations. So personhood, in community, and then obviously place. And if there is a sense of deeper connection, hopefully that feels related to a sense of responsibility or an idea of cause and effect or care, right? To, again, the individual, and then to community, and then also to place. That, if nothing else, the awareness of I am in relationship with can hopefully lead to a different set of framing, a different kind of rose-colored glasses by which we view the world, and certainly as we view ourselves in relationship to the world. So hopefully that generates a little bit more empathy, it generates a little bit more care, a little bit more space. And hopefully if everyone exponentially has that sense of increased awareness, then exponentially we have that much more empathy, that much more care, that much more space that we're able to provide as a result of this experience. Jenny, things that you have to add?
Yeah, I love exactly what you're saying. I feel similarly about the message, and that I would maybe add that there's a like-mindedness for the folks that are coming to this event. Hopefully people hear about it in enough time to come, because you're already connected. You're already seeing other people that are in the space, that are in the same space with the same or similar curiosity as you, and likely these are your neighbors. And if they're not your neighbors, Boston's so small that they're probably down the street or a bus stop away, or a 5 minute, well, now an hour long drive with all the traffic. But that there is a like-mindedness, and that there already is a community there that you can turn to somebody that you don't know and just say hello, and see yourself a little bit in that person, and maybe leave there with the seed of another relationship for you to maintain your own constellation of care. Because Boston is in a lot of ways very transient, and for the folks that have been here for generations, they're seeing this transientness happening around them, and it starts to create a disassociation sometimes, that like, oh, my people are not here, but we are here, and we're all having similarity. I'd also want people to leave with knowing that they're in a body, and
Mhm.
they're in a body that moves, and that movement, in my opinion, liberation is in the body. And so movement is the first form of communication. It goes all the way back to the womb. When you're in utero, you're moving around, and that's how you're able to communicate what it is that you're needing, experiencing, or whatever the case is. So it's really important to me in my work that people understand that your body is important, and that it is a tool for communication, and not just this transaction that we have on a
Right.
daily basis.
Thank you. And Ashleigh or Jenny, any one of you can tell us how we can purchase tickets, the time. I know I've said it already, but it would be good to come from you, the time, place, and what to expect when you get there at Hibernian Hall.
Sure, yeah. So Hibernian Hall in Roxbury, 184 Dudley Street, Nubian Square. 3 o'clock, doors will open, and from 3 to 4, we'll have these connection stations. So again, sort of choose your own adventure, some appetizers, so you can imagine the yummy smell of food from Zaz Restaurant, in addition to all these opportunities to reflect and connect, certainly with artists, and as Jenny said, with each other. And then the second sort of part of the afternoon from 4 to 5 to have the performances. So Jenny and her dancers, musicians that I referenced, spoken word artists. So the whole entire event is really from 3 to 5. So please do come through. It's free with a suggested donation to Castle of Our Skins. It's family friendly, intergenerational. So bring the whole crowd. As it's on a Sunday, November 5th, free parking, street parking, certainly being in Nubian Square, access to bus lines. So please do come on down. Might be cold outside, but we'll keep a warm space inside. And then Castle of Our Skins is acting as the producer for this project. So you can go to castleskins.org. And from there, you'll be able to find tickets. If you aren't able to, for whatever reason, get tickets online through our website beforehand. Again, it's a free event with suggested donations, so feel free to just come on down, and you'll be able to register on site and again experience what we hope to be a really immersive, highly participatory, and however you choose to participate is warmly welcome event.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny and Ashleigh, for coming on Voice of Reason Boston. It was a pleasure to have you this morning. I hope you both will come back and talk about any upcoming events that you may potentially have in the near future. But once again, I would encourage those who are tuning in and who will be watching this on social media to come November 5th, Hibernian Hall in Roxbury. Like Ashleigh stated, it's a free event, but please donate towards this organization, because this is the way that they're able to continue to provide service to the community and to local artists in our community as well. Thank you for tuning in to Voice of Reason Boston. My name is Tamisha Civil, and thank you for tuning in.